Hey guys, if you don't know who I am, I'm Savia Rocks, and I help people tell their stories, stay inspired, and get educated as they find the pride of who they are within creativity, but most of all, without judgment. Join us as we talk about
You really want to leave a legacy, do something for mankind. Do something that's going to benefit not just your children, everyone else's children.
I think our job as humans is to become the person we were born and peel away the cultural stuff that was given to us, the trauma, like peel away the stuff that changed us or that was thrown on us or made us small or made us go off track.
The biggest thing I've always found is when people think they know so much, then they start knowing so little.
And I'm making the right choice, and I'm showing up for myself, and I'm showing up for what matters in life.
Sometimes I think that trauma doesn't always have to be a bad thing. I think trauma can help you make choices in your life that turn something that started bad into something beautiful. So guys, welcome to season 7 of the Us People podcast with Savia Rocks.
Hello everyone, my name is Àrèmúorin. I'm a singer-songwriter and humanitarian. I am on the Us People podcast and I've had a great time with Savia Rocks. Check it out and tell everyone about the show.
I'ma get deeper, tables are turning, world in reverse, political burning. Where is the love? Where is the hope? Where is the faith?
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I have Àrèmúorin with me today, who is a songwriter, humanitarian, and activist. I want to thank you so much for taking your time to come on the Us People podcast. How are you?
I am blessed. Thank you for having me and looking forward to having a great time.
Yes, most definitely. So we've had a really nice talk even before we even began the podcast, which is something that I love to be able to do with my guests. But the first question I would love to ask you is, could you tell me a bit about yourself, where you grew up and how that influenced you to be the person who you are today?
Where I grew up in this part of the world and also other parts of the world, and predominantly Europe and Africa and parts in America. I have been influenced by life, I would say, challenges, adversities, music, faith, family, friends, and just a passion for creativity. I think that's influenced me the most.
To be fair, I think that's in itself is enough, to be fair, because when you go through all those journeys, I think that's enough for you to be able to say that. So excuse me, my second question for you is, it's a good thing that we can edit this. My second question for you is, could you kindly define yourself as a person, but also who do you see when you look in the mirror? But on the flip side of that question, has there ever been a time where you have looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you? How did you manage to go from a person that you might not have necessarily liked to becoming a person you felt had purpose in the world?
You know, when I was younger, unpacking trauma, navigating childhood traumas to actually, I don't know what the right psychologist word would use is, finding your own safe space, creating your own reality, your own safety space, and things that don't trigger you. I think somehow I find myself in modeling, and then I didn't have much awareness. I always lived vicariously through other people or through media or personalities. So I used to have a friend, he was into modeling a lot, and he used to be like, cool and show us all lots of cool things like how to walk and and I thought, okay, maybe this is what I should be doing. So I ended up getting into modeling school. And then when I was in modeling school, somebody told me one day that I was ugly. And I believed it. And this is really in my early 20s. And because of that, when I finished the the training, everything, people find it weird when I say went to modeling school. Yeah, we did. It's kind of like a prepping, grooming kind of thing, and but it also helped with acting and whatever else you wanted to do. And I generally believe this because I feel like, okay, if somebody who I thought was cool and was good at this said I'm ugly, I must be ugly. So I actually didn't pursue modeling. I did. I had my portfolio and everything, and I just didn't do it. And one day, and this is so true. Um, I know around that time, my friends used to say, "What are you? Are you a model? Are you something?" And I used to look at them. What are they talking about? Me model? Because I've already programmed in my head. But somebody telling me that I'm ugly. So one day I was in my house, just randomly, I was in the bathroom, and I just walked across the mirror, and I saw my reflection. And this is so true, and it's so strange that you're asking this question. I don't think I've ever, maybe only once, I've discussed this, but not at length. And I saw my reflection, and I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like, I saw a ghost, and I went back like, who is that? And I looked at myself. And that was the first time I saw what other people saw. Bizarre. Because I never ever looked into the mirror or examined or do anything. And then that was the first time I had a bit of a mind jog. And then another time, maybe about 10 years later, I saw some of the test shoots pictures from when I was traded, when I was in this modern grooming school. And I saw one of the pictures and I thought, my God, like I fancy myself like that is I was like I fancy my like it was I was like it was crazy. I was like, what, ugly? I look, no, I fancy. It was crazy. And that's when I realized, oh my God, I've wasted time just listening to idiots. So yeah, I just started to claim myself back, literally.
Do you know, it's funny when people say bad things about you, that's usually how they feel about themselves. It's a reflection of how they view themselves. So what they try to do is they try to exactly that, and they project that on you, knowing that the type of person that you are.
You have a good radio voice.
Thank you so much. That is it's humbly my goal to use my voice to do good in the world, but to also give people a chance who are ignored or never get a platform, if that makes sense.
Yep.
There are a lot of people. It's not about famous people, and the one thing I don't like about the industry is they only pay attention to you when you're someone.
Exactly.
And that's not how it should be. It should be
pretty important.
Yes, very much so. So the universe gave me this voice for a reason, and I don't want to waste it. It's so important.
I did something similar like this on my blog, Merciful Grace, where I was literally targeting artists that are actually household names, but you just don't hear from them again.
Yeah.
And that was a very good thing because I figured there must be something going in the backgrounds that they can't tell us. But I will be happy to tell it. I'll say it for you.
Okay.
Whatever's going on.
If you know any of them that would like to come on the show to tell their story as well,
sure.
I'd be humbled to have them on the show because I think it's fair for them to be able to share what really goes on. Because I find a lot of the time when they do interviews with other people, I don't know if you agree with this, but when I was doing my research and I watch and listen to how other people do their interviews, I noticed that how they would navigate certain things in certain ways to get answers that they want, or the questions that they were portraying to that person to get what they want. So it was beneficial to them, but not beneficial to the person themselves. And that needs to stop.
Bashir was a very good one, what he did to Michael Jackson.
Oh my days.
Yeah, what you did to Michael Jackson.
Me.
They would set you up and try to paint you. It's good when they do it to get information that public want to know, or when they know somebody has misbehaved and they're trying to hold them accountable. Um, but it's really, really bad when they use and twist to just get the subject into trouble, or unnecessary conflict just so they can get views and ratings. That's just
It's
not nice.
horrible. It's horrible. And then you have a lot more people who don't like you because of it. But because people are so materialistic like him, he doesn't care. For him, he's like, he's got everything he wants and he has all the materialism he wants. And he would rather make someone, because that can make someone commit suicide in a,
Absolutely.
you know,
When
when you
you
do, yeah.
somebody of something they didn't do.
Yeah, so it's horrible. But I know we went totally we went totally somewhere else. But my next question for you is, okay, the love of music is a beautiful thing. It brings people together. It can heal you, or it can even save your life. What do you believe your purpose was in being part of music and making music a part of you?
So, there's two sides to this question. My mom always told me when I did my first album and people hearing it, and the frequency was just so different, unique. And I, whether people want to give me credit or not, I've influenced the industry, music landscape on a very, very microscopic scale that it would almost be invisible, or be like people would take credit for it, because I know what I heard when I started, and my spirit always told me that that's not music, like, but you never want to be listened to. But my mom said that my music is music therapy, that my music's not for clubs. And she was right. She said that clear, like, your music is for music therapy, not for clubs. And this is as far back as probably 20 years ago when she was saying this to me.
Yeah.
And I was just so like, oh, I wanted to do peer pressure. You don't want to be on X Factor. You want to travel the world. You want to be a star and all that stuff. And you're not listening. But another side to that was that when I was young, the first time I heard music through my aunties, when I was with my grandparents, and they used to come home with music, well, Pentecostal music, because they went to go and stay with their sisters.
Okay.
And then they got access um, um, to Western music, all the imported gospel music that came in the early, so things like Maranatha, I'm forgetting all the cool music that crossed over into church, and that I'm trying to Abraham Laboriel and things like that, all the Hezekiah Walker of those times. So they used to sing all these lovely songs, and I used to love them because I knew they're quite different melodies that we used to sing in the Baptist church that I used to go to with my grandparents. So I was learning these songs off them, and I fell in love with music so much. And I, as a child who was innocent and still pure, I had a conversation with God, and I said, when I grow up, I want no. The conversation, like, it's like God asked me, what do I want?
Yes.
It's like he was looking at me, looking through my heart, see all my future, my glory. And I said, I want to sing. I said, I want a beautiful voice. I want it to be very, very high, very, very high, higher than even female soprano. And if you give it to me, I will use it to edify you. So I made those three. Somebody told me later it's an oath. So later on, when I was growing up and I got all those things, by the time I was 18, 19, I was singing in a choir. I was taken out of tenor because my tenor was too high to sing soprano. It was really, really cool. And then when I got into one day I saw an ad and I said I wanted for music, and I just thought, yay, sing! I want to sing. I didn't know it in the stage. I didn't know anything about it. I just went, sang a gospel song, and nailed the audition. They were just blown away, and I said, "Do I want to make millions?" And I had this voice come out of my chest, like saying, "Say no." It was very masculine and very fatherly, and I felt like I was enveloped in a vacuum, and everybody disappeared in the room. And they were like, we can feel it in the air, like, it sounds like angels. Do you want to make millions? And I was caught in between what I'm hearing and what these people sitting in front of me are telling me.
Yeah.
And the voice just said, say no. And the guy leaned forward again, the manager. I don't even want to mention his name, but
I'm
he's
intrigued to know, but
I can actually tell you, to be honest, why not Tops Henderson. He was
ah,
Rick Astley's manager at the time, and no, not at the time. He was Rick Astley's manager, and the project was with Waterman, PWL. So everything was just like set up. You had the producers; they was in their studios there. Everything was, well, the audition wasn't in their studios, but everything was just set up as like, you know. And anyway, they told me to say no, and I said. No, God told me so. No, no, and then I said yes, and a week later I tore my larynx. So my music just went. Everything just changed. My whole world changed. Like, I couldn't sing. I had to go back to training. I got kicked out of the project because I said even me that I was a lead singer became like from like talk about going from hero to zero overnight. And I went mental. I lost it. I just lost the plot. I just could not believe that my world has been taken away from me, like my future, my dreams, my everything. Um, and he actually, I found out later from one of my bandmates, like they didn't. He called me one day because we were supposed to have rehearsal in the studio at PW, and he called me to come. Like he calls everybody to come, and I got there was only me. And then he said the rest of the boys say they don't think I have what it takes. That I have to go. And then later on, I spoke to one of the my bandmates, and he said no, he didn't, and they didn't. They never said anything. They just told them that I won't be with them. I won't be able to continue with them anymore. See how brutal this industry is. So
yeah, people are so. Anyways,
I I everything was on the table. BMG, everything. Richard Griffiths, like it was just horrible. But to be honest. I'm saying this because my identity was already compromised when I said yes to that because I had a higher purpose than singing circular songs. Clearly, my music was to edify and to, yes, edify, pay homage to God Almighty, but also uplift people, heal people. And that's why my mom was saying your music is music therapy, which makes sense. She doesn't know this story because I'd never told her this. So it took a lot of soul searching, going back to therapy, seeing psychiatrists and psychologists and telling me this is how you used to sing, but this is how you sing now, or going through acceptance. Then I had to go and retrain, learn everything again, and figure out how to use my voice again. So like I only use about 70% of my voice now because of the scar on my larynx because I always fear that it's gonna rip again and I won't be able to sing and I'll be out of it for another 10 years. So every time when I couldn't really sing and I was so frustrated, I developed songwriting. So I
ah,
so because I had all these melodies in my head, but I couldn't really sing them. It was very frustrating. A lot of people thought I couldn't sing. People who met me later thought I couldn't really sing. But it's interesting when people who I grew up with in church who used to adore my voice because it was really spectacular, and they will come here and they will say, "Let's hear what you're doing," and they will say, "Well, your voice is gone," and you feel like, "Oh my!" Even the people still say you have a very nice voice. You're having people that know you say, nah, this is not it. It's gone." So it's very, very traumatic and telling. And I had no choice but to accept that no. Um, and I think I told this story to somebody once in a salon, and he said, "You made an oath with God. You made an oath with God." And at that time, I was hearing, but I wasn't listening. It's like you given up, but you haven't surrendered. So I was still trying to do the pop thing. Yeah, I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna do the MTV thing, and eventually, and another Lorraine Case who came to me a few times. I remember one time was in this open mic. She just walked up to me And I know it was a prophetic. She said things will always go wrong until you go back to God. Literally,
I've
she
heard that
came,
many a
she said
times.
that, and she walked away. And it's so funny. My first gospel album, I called her. She gave me some good advice. And when I did my first gig off the album, which was last Sunday, I called her when I got off the station. I remember this prophecy you told me. I'm going to do my first gig, and I just want to thank you because the advice you gave me when I was gonna put the album out, it really worked because I would have alienated the church. In me trying to do disco gospel album, forgetting that okay, you could do disco music for people who want to dance, but what about people who really, really go to church and who know God? So it was just full circle. So in terms of my identity, I believe that I was given this gift to, yes, to test it, to testify to the awesomeness of our Creator, that He is really exists, and to mess with people's minds because people always think like God works through kings and queens and people who are famous or beautiful and things like that. Yeah, God doesn't always work like that. So I had to basically realize that my gift is to serve people, to be honest, is to serve and glorify Him. So that's the experiences that shaped my identity in a long roundabout way. That's okay.
That's not even a bad thing, to be honest with you, because in that story, as much as people were, how can I say, jealous, and because you never gave them what they wanted, they decided to be malicious towards you. And if you've noticed, and I'm sure you have, a lot of the time that happens a lot in industries when people don't get what they want.
Yeah.
And we need to talk about this more to make people understand that. And the funny thing is, we go around thinking it's us. You know, we go around thinking we're the ones to blame.
Internalizing.
Exactly that. So it's like imposter syndrome we give to ourselves. But it's not us. Because those people didn't get what they wanted from you, maybe because they felt like they invested time or money in you, they come at you from a totally malicious perspective to try and harm you or make sure that you don't get any industry and people don't know who you are. Unfortunately, for some people, by the time you do get known, it's a very long period after.
Yeah.
And that happens to a lot of people. A lot of them go through that. But the one thing that I do want to make evidently clear to people is that we all can make it. We all can have a piece of something beautiful in the industry. We all can. It just takes for us to consistently be consistent within ourselves and not let that imposter syndrome destroy us, which is so important.
I think you're very, sorry to interrupt, but I totally agree. And you shrink yourself, and I just wanted to say again, I'm so thankful and grateful for the work you're putting in, because it's these little things that sometimes, like where the work is done, you don't often get the applause, but the work is necessary anyway because we're the building blocks. And what you're doing is so powerful. You don't know who's going to hear this, who's going to learn from this. And I can testify to, because from my work, sometimes people hear or see me, just by seeing me, you're inspiring somebody else that I can occupy space. So you saying this is going to trigger action, impact, discourse, conversation in spaces, decision makers, policymakers, gatekeepers for our community, outside our community. People want to partner with us, allies. And this is why I'm just so happy that people like you still exist and are doing what is necessary, even though people might not necessarily want to give the kudos, in the time being. But it's never going to be forgotten, because it's going to be out there and someone's going to find it and hear it.
I realized in life that some things are bigger than you. The purpose is bigger than you in the world. And like I said, even with the voice is there to be used. It's how you articulate that in the world, like you said, humbly. And thank you for saying everything you've just said, because like you say, sometimes the root people don't see, and that root goes deep. People don't always see that root, but they always see the success. They may see the awards, they may see who you hang around with, they may see, you know, the people you are known to or stand next to, but they don't see, you know, creative people have, like I say, this mechanism of imposter syndrome towards themselves. And that plays a huge detrimental part to them. But at the same time, we make wonderful things happen. And and it's those people, the middlemen, who always want to be a part of that. And half of the time, the middlemen, and I don't mean this in a bad way, the middlemen are not always the ones with the talent. They're just the middleman.
The milkman.
Yeah, literally. You said it right. The milkman.
They don't produce. They don't own the cow. They don't own the milk.
Nothing.
But they milk it anyway.
No, nothing. They're just privileged milkman. Yeah, and you know that will definitely spark a conversation somewhere when someone listens to that part. They'll be like, "Who are these two to turn around and say the milkman?" But when you go deep, okay, whoever's listening to that and takes it in anyway, go deeper into the perspective of it and understand what we're trying to say, because half of the time, if you've noticed, people will be the middleman and take half of the person's royalties and not even write a damn song, excuse me, and not even write the song, but still want to take half, and that's unfair.
Which is a good link, because I released a song today called Stole.
Yes. Yes. Say it. Yes.
About today, literally today, Stole. It's everywhere, so go check it out. It's in line with what we're saying, literally, about somebody who, we can't mention names now because I'm not ready. I'm not ready to deal with lawyers, but somebody very close to me at the time asked me to give them, heard my work, saw my hustle, and was just obsessed or infatuated. How am I getting these results? How am I able to garnish all these connections in the industry? And this person had children in the business well, and told me to give my cappella vocals, that one of our children is going to work on it. And basically that was the end of it. And then the next minute I'm being called for, I don't even know why I was called, to go on a merry-go-round trip somewhere, and just go around bus stations in the car, and they played this tune to me. And I don't know why you're playing this tune to me in your car. And then I asked you, what happened to the vocals I gave you? And he said, nothing happened to it. And I but my ex telling me, that sounds like my music that has been like sampled and revamped and whatever you've done with it. And that left that there. But her children went on to be famous artists in this industry. And I wrote a song called Stole, and that was on my first album, and it's kind of like very, very it's quite fun. I laugh about it. I just thought, okay, let me monetize my pain, turn my pain into power. So I thought I'm going to revamp it into 7 different versions and get into clubs, let people... I mean, it has the humorous side of it, that somebody stole your song, but in reality, there's a deeper conversation in that, how people get exploited, writers and artists, and so yes.
I like that. So my next question will tally into what we've been speaking about, but a lot more about you. I would love to know, what is a day like in your life, for example, from when you wake up in the morning to when you decide you're going to be productive or creative in what you do? What is a day like in your life from morning to evening, just to share with everyone?
So I live with absence seizures, and I'm just going to be totally honest, because this is a thing that I've been doing, which I don't think is right. I've been pretending everything is fine, and everything hasn't been fine for a while in terms of my health. And I wasn't helping myself by not letting people know I've got these medical conditions that like hidden disabilities, and like the conversation we had earlier, like, there are things within our community that we often don't get discussed, and we don't even know that there's a language or a diagnosis for, there's a way you can cope or it's recognized. It's just like you're lazy or get up, go do something, don't talk about whether it's mental health or physical. So I decided to start to take my life back, my power back after some research, and I realized, okay, there's something I can do about this. So I decided to tell people. So I have absence seizures, and some in the middle of songs, I could black out. I could be walking across the road, just blank out. I've gone to many, many industry events, like high profile events where they're cool people you want to impress. You walk in, say hi, hello, stick your hand out, and you just freeze, you're gone. And it's happened many, many times. Sometimes when you're with really good people, they would prompt you or hold you or just mine is tonic, so it's usually like a second to 5 seconds, unless there's other things added to that. Then maybe I might be out for a while. So for me, usually the absence seizures is something to manage. Some days they're good days, some days they're bad days. Sometimes you have to take some times out. You have to take some time out to sleep, to rest, recuperate. I've also had headaches for over 30 years, which, yeah, I've headaches every day. So right now, let's see, headaches is about four. So usually 4, 5, I can manage six. A little bit okay. I'll be squinting, but when we have like the 7, 8, 9s, usually those ones, I'll be in bed, and if they don't go after 2 days, I'll have to use strong painkillers. Like we're talking about painkillers that you have to take when you break bones. I get them every month. So, but I don't like to be depending on them because I understand. I used to live with medical people when I was younger, and I know that if you take medication for something over a long period of time, after a while, it doesn't work anymore.
That's true, because your
So,
body becomes immune to it.
yeah. So I would only take it if I have an engagement that I can't get out of, like to perform, or say I have to do this interview, or it's an emergency. Otherwise, or it's really bad, bad, bad. And it's like 2, 3 days, the headaches won't go away, and I've slept and I'm tired of sleeping. So I will take it. And the reason why that is also is because my doctors have told me it, some doc when I go hospital and they ask me for meds and I tell them, they shout at me that with your heart you're taking this. So they, and I realize I don't want to get my doctors in trouble because doctors have always told me that you shouldn't be taking this too much because of your heart, because I have a high blood pressure as well. So it's something I have to mind to be very, very selective, when I take it. So I'm just giving you a reality of my day. I never know what's going to happen from day to day. I never know. I could go out starting to perform or do something, and my body would just like I'll just be in agony pain. I have to sit down or go back home. I could just take a little walk, like 10 minutes, and I'll come back home and I'll sleep the whole day because my everything is aching. When I tell people everything hurts, people think I'm joking. I'll say I have in my clutch bag, I always have my painkillers there. I never know
Wow.
I need it. Like literally. People, when I say everything hurts, people think like, what are you talking about? We're all tired. And that's another thing with our community. It really annoys me. And I've cut people off. When you're telling them about your condition, they try to
Yeah.
compare themselves with, oh,
Yeah.
exercise more. Oh, you should go to the gym. We're all, and I'm like, and it really frustrates me. I'm like, you're a doctor now. So you're a physician now. So your medical record and my medical record is the same. So you're in my body. You know how I feel. Like, really, you think I just want to be sitting around doing nothing with my life? So yeah, it's but in all, I think whenever I get up, I try to do something. I would try to do something, whether even if I'm in bed, like I can get my phone or write something or just be composing in my head. And as soon as I'm able to get to a recording place, I'll just sing the melodies onto my phone. I just try to be productive. But actually, my day to day is quite challenging. But I'm so grateful that now I do have a really good support system around me, people who are very, very kind, who help me and get the support I need. I've had to change GPs a few times because I got caught up in the whole system where um, they don't want to help you or give you access to help you need. And that's another thing why I work with charities to shed more light on epilepsy. Because I had absence seizure for so long and nobody really sat me down and said, this is how we're going to manage it.
Yeah.
All they were was trying to tell me is that, oh God, I should go to psychiatry. Like I've got mental health issues. I'm like, Jenna, it's just so upsetting. It's just so upsetting. Something so simple that they could give you access to manage your life better.
Yeah.
So I'm just so blessed now that with music being able to music definitely is a great thing that helps me manage my health conditions. So a lot of my songs that I write, they come from that space. They're cathartic. A lot of people tell me my music is cathartic, which is an irony because when I'm feeling whatever, I write, and that's how I, you know, induce myself into calmness. So it's nice that it has the same impact on other people. So every day is just like being thankful, being grateful, and acknowledging what I can and acknowledging what I cannot, and just do what I can every day. Because I tell myself, look at Anthony Joshua, that boy
Mm.
could have died literally, and lovely guy. I've met him before, lovely, lovely guy, and it's like so every day I do something because nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. I went to sing yesterday, and there was a guy who came on and he said, listen, on New Year's Eve we were here like singing and whatever, and the guy was behind me and I was encouraging him. A few days before New Year Eve, I was encouraging him that he should go and sing and
Yes.
whatever, open mic. And then he came back today, oh yes, last night, and he said he on his way home on his line bag he had a crash. He crashed into some fence, and he was unconscious and he was left hanging
Oh
by his
wow.
neck, and he ended up in ICU. That he had a 30% of survival.
What?
Like, well, yeah, and he came back within 7 days. Within 7 days. And he came, and that day, last week, he was singing, Never Would Have Made It Without You. You know, that
Yeah.
gospel song. That's what he was singing. So he came back again last night to sing the same song again. And he was crying that he would have died. He was in the hospital. His mom was saying, do you want to meet Jesus now? So I'm just using this for introspection. Like, nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. So even if I can't finish my song and I have an idea, I will do whatever I can do and just you know, continue to pray for daily graces and just do the best I can. So that's what my day looks like.
You know what? I like that day. And that's just one day because every day is different.
Exactly.
Exactly that. And this is why I like it, because it's good to give people a perspective of how you live your life, because sometimes people have this weird interpretation because you are a certain person that your life will be a certain way.
Yeah.
Whereas I find that we have more in common with each other than we'd say and feel and think. And these are so important. So my next question, this is a question that I ask even before anyone comes on the podcast. And the reason why I ask this question to understand my guest a little better and their views on things. So when you were filling out the form to come on the podcast, one of the questions was, what is a common misconception about your field that you would like to clear up? I'll read a sentence and then I'll let you elaborate. You said a common misconception is that using modern tools or AI in music makes it less authentic.
Yes, good question. So I discovered AI literally in the last, well, with music, and I got into it, and for me, it just sped up my productivity. It made me it made me more productive. I was able to do so much more than I've done in like 30 years. I was able to do so much more within days and weeks because I'm a music junkie. I love writing. I've written so much, but I don't, and because of the limitations I have or the challenges I have vocally because of my past injury and my health, not knowing what day to day is going to be like, it would take me to record all the stuff and produce all the stuff I have, it would take a lifetime. So to find means it's like me trying to walk to New York when I can take a Concorde and get there quicker. Like, hello, I'm taking the Concorde. I see you there. If you want to take the boat, good luck. I'll see you when I get there. So that's what AI is. But I think the misconception is that people who don't write melodies or lyrics or produce or have no creative thoughts, they will rely on that to assist them to generate everything. Now, if you're a bad writer, AI will give you bad music as well. You have to really um, be able to, you still need human intervention to be able to produce and tell it what to do. Otherwise, you don't get the same result. So for me, it's just like going to a studio to work with producers and engineers and musicians, and I have technology can do that for me, just like moving from typewriter to word processing. It's the same thing. Like just going from I mean, the technology has always improved life in so many ways, from bicycles to motorcycles. So I think people just feel that when people evolve AI in music production, that they're gonna take away the jobs from the writers and the producers and all this stuff, that they're replacing people. No, you still need to produce and filter through what works and what doesn't work.
Yes.
So it's a grave misconception. I think people will be left behind if they don't jump on. It's just like the internet when the internet started.
Yes.
So it's an interesting one. There's so much discourse in communities, but I'm running with it and I love it.
See, this is why I like asking these questions. So my next question I'm only allowed to say once, okay? And I would like you to pick the one word that stands out to you that you would like to talk about. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Power, perception, culture, judgment, love, class, privilege, diversity, race, honesty, and mental health. Which one stands out to you that you would like to talk about?
Ooh, love.
Okay, let's go.
There is nothing above love, and that's like the mantra, or that's the theme of um my my blog, Merciful Grace. There's nothing above love, and I also believe that God is love, and I'm big on faith. Our Maker, Yahweh, I believe He is the nucleus to everything I do, the energy that drives me. And I think when we all tap into that, away from religion, we become more spiritual, more aware, and we become more ingrained into one another. We become more united. We'll see less differences, and we will find what binds us together. We'll find more commonalities or similarities between us. So, love, though, I do believe that it's a very, very challenging one because it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. Imagine somebody murdered your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to forgive and make peace, and they came the next day and they murdered your second child. And because the Bible says you have to forgive, then you forgive and make peace. At what point do you like, okay, enough is enough? I'm standing my ground. So, but love also is a teacher that teaches you boundaries and self love, and the more you tap into it, you realize that some things we call love is not even love, like Eros love.
Yes.
It's not the same as agape love.
Mm-hmm.
So, Um, and it is true that that song of George Benson, which Whitney Houston did, the greatest love of all is learning to love yourself. Because when you love yourself, oh my God, you become a different kind of animal. You would not put up with anything mediocre. You would not even give it an ounce. And you would not even give it. You wouldn't even give it an iota of your time, because it will be so, you're vibrating up there, and that will be just so down there, and it's just beneath you. It wouldn't even be able to step up to you. So when you really, really tap into the frequency of love, you operate differently. And it's hard. And that's maybe because even I'm working on myself. There are people who've wronged me that I'm learning as I grow older, that listen, if I want my mental health to improve, I need to actually practice this love that I'm preaching, because you're just holding baggage
in your brain, like you're drinking poison, expecting someone else to die. So, but I think it empowers us to be more autonomous, independent, free thinking, proactive, compassionate, understanding. It increases our emotional intelligence so we can see things from other people's perspective, and understand why they behave in the way they behave, and not
Yes.
internalize a lot of other people's trauma, and not be walked all over. And that will help to deal with racism, classism, capitalism. You start to see that some things that are that people made you think are important, they're not even important.
Mm-hmm.
Or you start to realize some people that you thought was so important, they're not actually important.
Yeah.
That's feeding off your energy. You're the main T. You're the reason why they even have a conversation. You're the reason why they're even there. You're the even you're actually you're the reason why they're being blessed, because you are putting out frequencies which is attracting light onto them, which is getting light shown on them, so they become more visible. And sometimes when you leave, so the blessings leave.
Yes.
So it's a very, very interesting one. And I like delving into it and operating from that, and also be introspective about it so I can be a better version of myself.
I like that. So, if I was to ask you one question, or if I was to say to you, if there was one question you wished someone would ask you, but they never ever have, what would that question be and why?
I've never been asked that one before. A question someone would have asked me, but they didn't. Um,
That you would like them to ask you, but nobody ever has.
I think I would have liked people to ask me how I feel, how I feel, how I feel, because and that's a question that we should ask every black person, every marginalized person, every outsider, every outcast.
I agree.
How do you feel? I think when they make all these laws about black people being like, degenerate, or just treating Indians or Asians in some way, or even if you even look at it, how people who are probably successful and wealthy or privileged, how they get treated with biases
That's true.
and prejudice as well. You never ask them how they feel about being, just because you're lucky, just because you're successful. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily a bad person and that you don't care about other people. You just probably made different choices, or maybe you were just fortunate. I would like somebody to ask me how I feel, because people have made decisions about me, for me, without asking me how I felt about it, especially children as well. We should ask children, how do they feel? You know?
I think that's actually quite true. But there's so many layers to asking somebody how they feel. I think there are multiple layers, because there are people who just say how are you feeling, but there is no significance or emotional connection behind the question. And then there is, how do you feel? Do you
Yeah.
understand the difference?
Really want to get to know what's making them happy or sad, and
Exactly
if there's
that.
any way you can add value to that person's well-being. I think it goes into decision making in hospitals, in so many services, social services, like just trying to even be respected in society and seen as equal. And the race has a lot to do with that. We never get to ask how we feel about not getting reparations when the Jews got theirs, and you're telling us to get over it. You never ask how we feel about that. Generational trauma, we never get asked that. And I also would say the same thing to a white person. Now, how do you feel about being blamed for things that you didn't even do? But obviously that you benefit from as well. That's another question.
Yeah, see, that's the see, that's well, yes,
Yeah, you see, so there's a lot of that those are questions. And when you start to operate in love frequencies,
yes,
those nuances start to make more sense. And some of those questions you already know the answer because by the frequency they give you back, it'll be innate. You'll be actually telepathic and you'll be able to get. And that's why love is a frequency that's so good that it defies everything, like from gravity to color to creed to race. I have friends who are very, very rich, filthy rich, that they shouldn't even be talking to me, but they do because they feel safe. And I also feel safe. And I have some people who I don't feel safe around them with all their black cards and whatever. I don't feel safe around them because I've seen how they move or how they treat people or how they've treated me. And I also see people who have nothing that I see in the market that just chill and talk. And I feel safe around them. And some I don't feel safe around them either. So frequencies of love can actually be part of that conversation of knowing how people really feel. It's one way. We're talking like when we're walking in a supernatural, in a different dimension. But while we're here, just on the surface level, I think the least we can do is ask, truly, really ask people how they really feel. If you really care, and if you have any love in your heart, before dropping bombs on other people's countries and taking all their oil and their minerals, have you ever asked them how they feel about that?
You know what? Have we ever asked the earth how it feels?
Exactly.
The earth will respond. People think that it wouldn't respond. The earth will respond. The reason why a lot of people there's a difference between wealth and being rich. Just the word alone tells you. But the wealthiest thing in the world is the earth, because without it, those people wouldn't be wealthy. And again, there are so many layers to that, but because people are so self-absorbed and concentrate on what they can gain from using the earth to its full capacity, they never actually ask, how is the earth? I know there are people in the world who are good, who genuinely would use the earth but give back to the earth, and I commend them for that because they realize what they're doing. But there are people who don't care, and that's the same thing with when you talk about people who you feel safe with and who you don't feel safe with, and usually the times you don't feel safe with your own people.
True.
And
that could be family.
Yeah, that's the worst one.
Yep.
We can go on this for hours.
Yeah.
But the one thing I've realized in life is everything is energy, and who we connect with is energy. It could be family, not family. It could be a complete stranger sitting on the sidewalk who we will never know, a homeless person. It could be a person who is wealthy. A lot of wealthy people say to me, even though I have money, I'm not happy inside. So there are so many factors to so many things, and so many people want to be wealthy, but then they realize wealth doesn't bring the happiness. And I've had the confrontation with people. Some people say that money does bring happiness. I don't think that's true. I think that if you are happy without the money will just be an extra blessing. But again, it doesn't mean that I'm correct, and there are so many different factors to things to understand them, because we're all on a different journey. And that's something. So my next question for you is about judgment. We are judged every day about who we are, what we say, how we speak, our religion, our culture. So if I said to you, if you took the word judgment out of the dictionary and the word judgment did not exist in humanity, any dictionary, anywhere at all, growing up or just being who you are, what do you believe that you would have done differently knowing that judgment didn't exist?
What would I do differently if I knew judgment didn't exist? Be my authentic self 24/7. Well, I am my authentic self, to be honest, but I would actually even be my authentic self even more. Walk into space and not even give a damn. I even do that now. Honestly, I do that. I do that. People say, you're walking, you look like you own the room. I've been to many events and I'm just being myself and people are threatened. They say, oh, you walked in, we've not been introduced. You walked in like you own the whole place. What are you talking about? I'm just a little nobody. I'm just walking in my purpose to my destination. I don't know. This is your destiny. I'm just walking through. I would actually just live life to the max as much
Yes.
as I can. That's what I will do because, and I, in a way, I do, but I think I could even do more. I could do more, and that would improve my well being, my mental health. I'll probably take more risks. Um, I will do more things that I wish rather than thinking, and I'm saying, I'm repeating myself. I think I still do, because my first album was Follow Your Dreams, which is one of the reasons why I'm still doing what I'm doing today.
Hmm.
Um, I think having an awareness of what my purpose is has definitely given me the ability to be a bit like that, but there's even so much more. There's still
Mm.
so much more. Like advocacy, I've got into that now, speaking up for myself and speaking up for other people. Because when I feel that I'm going through something and I found out, okay, there's a solution, I think there must be other people as well going through this.
Yes.
They need this information as well. Let me share this information because I just found out. So, some of things actually are very sensitive. I won't say on this podcast because I know the gatekeepers are listening. But I know that there's just so much more that can be done if we just stand up together and vibrate on the same frequency of love. And then there'll be no judgment because everybody wants to be loved after all.
Yeah, definitely that. I think I've learned more about understanding people's perception of jealousy and how they put that across to people a lot more, and gatekeepers, and the reason why they want to stay the gatekeepers for many reasons, and one of them is insecurity, um, and holding power because they feel like they need it. Whereas it doesn't bother me, to be honest with you. I think, like I said, in life, I've realized that if something is, my grandma always told me that if something is for you, it will be for you. No matter how hard the journey is, you will get to the other side of it. And I think that's something that we all need to understand and remember is within us. We have the power within us. People like to try and portray like they have the power over you. And that's what we need to understand. We have the power within us to be anything. People like to throw their power on you to make you feel like they have the power. So that's something that I'll leave with everyone as well. So I only have 2 more questions for you, but my second to last question is, when was the last time you felt totally at peace with yourself?
Hmm. 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 Something comes to mind, but just the other side of my brain is saying, "Oh, that's a red flag." So, and I actually say it actually because it's like it might be. This is good as like a workshop. So, the first thing that came to mind is like when I was in love. Then my mother brain is telling me that, does that
Oh,
mean that you don't have self love? You don't love yourself enough to be at peace when you're not in love with somebody else? And that just put me in check right there. So it would definitely
yeah.
be that. I think when um I think peace at myself is when I find my true purpose, my ultimate
Mm,
purpose. So that could be like writing a song, conceiving a song and writing it and then bringing it to life and performing it, and it's resonating with people and you're getting
yes.
feedback and people say, no, it's really touched them, thank you. Or things that I've done which I didn't even pay attention to that people said inspire them. So, for instance, like when I go to perform, sometimes, even though I know I have, because of seizures and the scar I've talked about when I rip my larynx, sometimes I have pitch problems. So obviously, it's when you have seizures, you have a lot of brain fog. So sometimes every note could sound the same. So it'd be like you're out of tune, but you're just singing what you hear. So sometimes I go anywhere and I still go perform. I just, I'm just performing to what I'm hearing anyway. It makes no difference to me because I'm singing. This is what I'm hearing, and it might look is weird to other people. Like he doesn't even know he's not in key or is off pitch or something like that. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Often is later I realize, oh my god, it was a bad seizure day that day. I didn't realize. So um, then the one girl came and she sang one day, one of these days, where I was in the space I was singing, and it was so beautiful. Just her on guitar. All the other band members just stayed out. Just her on guitar. Her voice was so beautiful, and it stood at everybody. And I was the only one, just saying like, and everyone was listening because I was so genuinely like shocked, like so much power in your fragile voice with just guitar. So when she came off stage, and then she said she does this organization that I've forgotten the website. I will have mentioned actually because she deserves it. Basically, she has this foundation where she trains and mentors young black kids. Oh, I was even like, oh my god, you are heaven sent. And I went on the website, it was so beautiful. These little lovely young black kids where they do um work with them. So then when we were talking, I said, I would love to know what's your website again? What do you do? So maybe we can do something together. I really love your singing Don't Stop. She said, yes, I love your confidence. So I wish I had your confidence. And I was like, And I'm like, okay. And I
Yeah.
said, really? Okay. And I made a joke of myself. I said, okay, so maybe there's still more juice to squeeze from this old bottle. That maybe I should do some masterclass. She said, yes, and I will come and I will pay. I was like, what?
Ah, see.
Like, what? So me being my ultimate freedom self, just be myself, as wacky might sound to some people, it's still saying something. And that's why I feel like, you know, I'm just at peace when I'm just doing what I love. Whether it's singing, writing, spending quality time, just see my favorite movie, watching, scrolling on social media, seeing things that some people don't like, but I find it hilarious and I'm retweeting it. It's like orgasm. I'm just bawling, laughing. I could be on the train, on the bus. I'll be on my phone. I'll be laughing out hard because I'm seeing these funny things when you're looking at different sides of life. And people just think that it's wrong. Like, who cares? I can only be myself. Why be so? Oscar Wilde wasn't he once saying that be yourself because everyone else is taken.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that's usually when I'm at peace, when I'm just being my authentic self and doing things I love.
That's enough for me. That is enough for me. So my last question for you is, I would love for everyone to be able to find you on your social media platforms or anywhere that you would like people to be able to find you. Where can people find you?
Àrèmúorin.me, AREMUORIN, Àrèmúorin.me. That's my website pretty much is place where I try to put all my content, music, writings, and Àrèmúorin also, you put that on social media. You can get me on social media like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and I
Yes.
have music out. And my first gospel album, Hey Lord, came out on Christmas Day. We've got the Bright Lights Project, which is supporting Epilepsy Foundation. It would be nice people to support and buy that so we can give them some support to so people can know more about epilepsy in children and adults. And yeah, it's just is I'm there. I'm a citizen of the world. The internet is my home.
See, I like that. I completely like that. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on the Yes People podcast, for sharing your story with me and allowing people to authentically hear who you are in your own way without any judgment. So thank you so much. I appreciate you and I humbly wish you all the best in everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and God bless you, and keep up the good work, and please don't stop.
Thank you so much. And on that beautiful note, I will say, guys, thank you so much for listening. And please remember, you can subscribe or leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or any other platform that you prefer listening to. Please also remember, you don't have to listen to the most recent episode of the Us People podcast. You can find an episode that resonates with you and that can help educate you, or just find something that helps your soul take it to the next level of who you want to be and what you want to become. And on that note, I will say to you guys, thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another. Take care.
I'ma get deeper. Tables are turning, world in reverse, political burning. Where is the love? Where is the hope? Where is the faith inside? It's been misplaced, power being misguided, manipulation used for both sides, unjustified violence. You living it up in your kingdom where you're using the myth. God that wants to do your killing.
Thank you. That was fun. It would have been more fun if we had if we did a video, but obviously the internet connection wasn't great. So absolutely, because this is all we have. I always say your network is your net worth, and the social capital, sometimes we take it for granted. And while we're building our social capital like we're doing now, we're sowing seeds. It's very important to be in alignment. Make sure the people you bring into your network are the kind of people you want to align yourself with, because the wrong person in there could just mess everything up for you. Just one person. So it's very, 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 very important. A lot of things we've talked about today even falls into that, because alignment, being your authentic self, walking in the frequency of love, all those things, being kind, if we do all these things right, they would shape our network and our network.
Change the status quo, sins of your fathers, rippling through time, we living it, breathing it. Kings and queens, mass destruction, digging mass graves, driven by the greed. You don't really care. Devil smile in my face. Your hidden agenda ain't really about peace. Your hidden agenda ain't really about love. How do you breathe and how do you sleep? I guess it's a lie you've been telling yourself.
The lies we see through the darkness and the blurry lines. I'm about to dive in deep. The wheels are spinning, globes in rewind, political ablaze. Where's compassion? Where's the love? 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 Where is the love? Where is the hope? Where is the faith inside? How do you breathe and how do you sleep? I guess it's a lie you've been telling yourself.
I'ma get deeper. Tables are turning, world in reverse, political burning.
Change the status quo, sins of your fathers, rippling through time, we living it, breathing it. How do you breathe and how do you sleep? I guess it's a lie you've been telling yourself. Your hidden agenda ain't really about peace. Your hidden agenda ain't really about love.
Change the status quo, sins of your fathers, rippling through time, we living it, breathing it deeper. Tables are turning, world in reverse, political burning. How could I breathe when I see people dying on both sides?